Hi there, welcome to Pour the Love of Art. I had this idea that I would make vases to give this year as Christmas gifts, and then I thought it would be fun if I poured 12 of them over a 24 by 36 inch canvas. And so that's what I'm doing here. You'll see 11 of the 12 being poured, but for some reason I somehow cut one of them off, and so I only got the pouring process for 11 of the vases, but you will see all 12 of the finished vases. I decided to pour 2 or 3 vases at a time and then let them drip, and once the dripping slowed down on each vase, I would remove it, and then I would tip the canvas a little bit to move the paint around, and that way I'm not letting some of the paint sit and dry while I'm doing the other vases. I knew I wanted all the vases to be different colors, and I wasn't worried about how that was all going to look on the canvas. I was just more concerned with making sure I had a variety of colors, because they're going to be given as gifts, and I wanted to make sure I can give different individuals something that was more suitable for their style. And I knew in the end the canvas was just going to have a fun mix of all the colors. Now you've seen the first 3 vases being poured, and once the dripping of the paint slowed down and I was able to move them safely off to the side, then I was able to start moving the paint around the canvas. Obviously, I'm not going to get full coverage at this point, but it's just a starting point. After I'm done tilting those puddles, I move on to pouring the next few vases and start that process over. To make sure I get good coverage of paint on the vases, you may notice that I start by pouring around the outside of the rim first, and then I go back to the bottom flat part and fill that in. But I usually start working in wider circles, and that helps to get more coverage and less of those streaks of clear glass where the paint didn't make it. Then towards the end of the pour, when the paint is slowing down coming out of the cup and it's a thinner stream of paint coming down, then I make smaller circles focusing on the bottom flat part of the vase so that I don't get those thin streaky lines in the design of the vase that I've already created. Once this round of vases starts to slow down on the dripping, then I do the same thing. I remove them off to the side and I start tipping the canvas again, now trying to bring all the puddles together so they can connect, and I can start to get full coverage on the canvas. This process was really fun, knowing that these 12 vases are all going to go to different homes of family members and friends that I love, and at the end of the process, I'm going to have one painting that connects me to all of them, and that's why I decided to call it the 12 Days of Christmas. I didn't decide in advance which colors I was going to mix for each vase and which color was going to go to each family member or friend. I just mixed up a variety of colors, and then I started pouring the combinations together in cups in preparation to pour on the vases, and I figured I would wait until they were all done and dried and varnished, and I would just know who would like which of the colors and the finished product, and that's kind of how I'm going to go about selecting who gets which one. You might also notice that as I'm pouring, I'm wearing Christmas pants, but that was just a coincidence, and it's because anytime I ruin clothes because I get overly excited about painting and I don't take the time to change out of what I'm wearing and into my painting clothes, my stack of painting clothes grows. And so Yeah, I wear my Christmas pants a lot while I'm painting. That's okay though, because I probably spend more time in my messy studio painting anyway than I do dressed up and out and about or lounging in my home, so it makes sense that the majority of my clothes are painting clothes. Here I am finishing up the last few of the 12 vases. Same process, let them drip, let as much paint drip off, and when it starts to slow down, I move them off to the side. One thing I do want to mention is be careful how close they are to your canvas so that you don't knock them over. I didn't actually do that, I'm just mentioning it. You don't want to knock the vases over, and you also don't want to drip paint off the canvas onto the vase that you've just created. So just keep that in mind. You make sure you move them off to the side enough of a distance where you're not going to be able to damage them. Thankfully, I made it through at least this step of the process without damaging any of the vases or the designs that I had just created on them, and I was able to finish tilting the canvas and getting a composition that I was really happy with. I did have a couple of minor damages to the vases during the resin process and during the sanding of the drips of resin process, but nothing that was too difficult to fix. I'll show you. Here they are after they have dried. Oh, and those are some extras that I had done previously. So these are before they were sealed in resin, but they have been drying for about a week at this point. Now here they are after they've been sealed with resin. They look nice and shiny, fabulous. I'm going to show you this first one that during the resin process, I got a piece of paint skin stuck at the rim. So I ordered some of this trim from Amazon and I added it on, and it looks fabulous. Like I had planned it, and I, of course, had not planned it. You'll also see on these vases, I've already sanded most of the rims, so those little resin drips are gone. The insides still have the sanding dust, so I need to clean those off and get them ready for packaging. Some of them are going to be shipped, but I do have a couple more to sand first before I get to that process. Here's another damaged one. You see, during the sanding of the drips, I chipped off some paint. I could always just paint that and dab a little resin on it to fix it, and if I run out of time and I don't have the time to do that, that could end up just being my vase. But here they all are. They look wonderful, nice and shiny and glossy, and I love the way they all turned out, and I can't wait to give these as gifts. This vase is my favorite of the 12, actually probably my favorite vase ever, and I kind of wanted to keep it for myself, but I decided to give it to my mom, and that way I can see it whenever I go to her house. I love it. This vase I had sealed with resin, and I didn't like the way it dried. It wasn't as smooth as I wanted. It wasn't as smooth as the other one, so I just did another layer of resin, and now it's perfect. I just have to finish sanding the drips off these two, clean off all the vases, and they'll be good to go. And here is the painting with the drippings from all 12 of the vases. And even though each vase had its own combination of colors, I really like the way they all blended together and created this one 12 Days of Christmas piece. I'm really excited about it. It's a little bit outside of my box, not something I would normally do. I'm more of a minimalist in colors, so I'm actually loving this for myself. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.